Have you ever heard of a giant who was scared of a tiny bark? Let me tell you the story of Thon Agok, a young man built like a mountain, with arms as thick as tree trunks, and a voice that could shake the ground. You'd think he was a fearless warrior, right? Wrong. The slightest bark from a dog would send this giant running for cover, his heart pounding in his chest. His family was at their wits' end. People in the village had started to make fun of him, pointing and laughing. "There goes Thon Agok," they'd say, "the biggest coward in the land." His family held countless meetings. Elders, wise men, and advisors all gathered, offering suggestions and plans to cure his fear. But nothing worked. Thon remained as timid as ever. While other boys his age were learning to wrestle, spar, and fight, Thon would watch from a distance. When his friends went on hunting trips, tracking game through the wilderness, Thon stayed home. He never joined in the village projects, never stood shoulder to shoulder with the other men. He was a giant, living in the shadow of his own fear. During one particularly desperate family meeting, an old, wise elder finally spoke up. "This is beyond our wisdom," he declared. "Thon Agok's fear is not ordinary. We must take him to the kujoor, the witch doctor. Perhaps he holds the key to unlocking the courage within him." It was a drastic step, but everyone agreed. It was their last hope. Thon, of course, was terrified. The idea of meeting a witch doctor was almost as scary as a barking dog. But his family was insistent. They practically carried him to the kujoor's hut, a mysterious place on the edge of the village. The kujoor was an ancient man with eyes that seemed to see right through you. He looked Thon up and down, a long, thoughtful gaze. Then he turned to the family. "Leave him with me," he said, in a calm, steady voice. Once they were alone, the kujoor beckoned Thon closer. "Hey Thon," he said softly, his voice surprisingly gentle. "Come here. You are not a coward. There are just a few small things we need to adjust." For the first time, Thon felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this wasn't so scary, after all. He felt a strange sense of confidence begin to build inside him. The kujoor then began his work. He lit strange-smelling herbs, their smoke curling up into the dim light of the hut. He started murmuring, chanting words in a language Thon didn't understand. He circled Thon, slowly at first, then faster, his movements like a strange dance. He would stop, return to his corner, grab different powders and potions, and then begin the ritual all over again. The air grew thick with incense and incantations. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the kujoor sat down. He looked at Thon, a wide, knowing smile spreading across his face. "It is done," he announced. "You are the strongest man. From this day forward, fear will never find its way into your heart again. Go now and be afraid of nothing." A profound change washed over Thon. He stood up, taller than ever before. He walked out of that hut, not as the timid man who had entered, but as a champion. He marched into the village square, beating his chest with his mighty fists. "I am the strongest man in this town," he boomed, his voice echoing off the buildings. "Whoever thinks otherwise, let him step forward. I challenge anyone, man or beast." People stopped what they were doing. They stared in disbelief. Was this really Thon Agok, the man who ran from puppy dogs? His confidence was infectious. Soon, a crowd gathered around him, children and adults alike. They began to chant his name, Thon, Thon, Thon. They had a new hero, a new champion born from the ashes of fear. Thon reveled in the adoration, his chest puffed out with pride. He felt invincible. But his reign as the undisputed champion didn't last very long. Just as the celebration was reaching its peak, a figure emerged from one of the narrow side streets. This man was enormous, even bigger and broader than Thon. He moved with a quiet, dangerous confidence, his shadow falling over the crowd. He walked straight up to Thon and without a word, grabbed him. With what seemed like no effort at all, the giant stranger lifted Thon clean off the ground. Thon's feet dangled helplessly in the air. He struggled, he kicked, He tried to break free, but the man's grip was like iron. Panic started to set in. The old fear, the one he thought was gone forever, began to creep back into his heart. His newfound bravery was melting away like snow in the sun. But just as despair was about to consume him, a clever idea sparked in his mind. He stopped struggling and looked past the giant's shoulder, a look of surprise and relief on his face. "Hey!" Jan yelled, his voice straining. "You're only brave enough to face me when I'm alone. You weren't so tough when you saw me by myself earlier. But now that my friend is just coming around the corner, what are you going to do? How can you possibly face the two of us?" The giant man paused. He looked over his shoulder, confused. Of course, there was no one there. A slow smile spread across his face, and he let out a deep, rumbling laugh. He gently placed Jan back on the ground. He looked down at the trembling man and said, "A clever trick. Remember this, my friend. Never let your strength make you arrogant, because there is always, always someone stronger than you." The crowd fell silent, the lesson sinking in for everyone, especially for Jan. What do you think is the real moral of this story? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this tale, please give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one. Thanks for watching.